Snap Fitness in Grand Island offers 24-hour access, free weights, strength training machines, cardio equipment, nutrition plans, and personal trainers. They'll work with you to help you reach the goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in GI.
Welcome to In the Hoop. I'm George Ayoub with Bobby Mills, the 1,000-yard guy. How are you today, Bobby?
Good, George.
Good to see you. We're going to talk high school hoops. Our broadcast brought to you by Snap Fitness, where you and I probably need to go.
Probably do. I know I do.
Do a little of that. So, Elisa Reach is behind the camera. She'll be making faces and telling us what to do here throughout the broadcast, and we will be ignoring her for the entire time. The Islanders go to Southwest, get spanked pretty good on Friday, and come back and take number 3 Benson to overtime, a game you saw the second half of.
Well, that was exciting, George. They played just toe-to-toe with them. I don't know whether Benson wasn't ready or whether they thought it might be an easy game, but Grand Island, despite being outsized and the physical builds weren't the same, they played toe-to-toe, and they could have won that game.
Yeah, Benson's front line, I think, is 6'8", 6'9", 6'7".
Oh, my goodness.
And, of course, Kyrie Thomas is back.
Yes, he
playing,
is.
And he's one of the better big guards in the state. So kudos to the Islanders. They lose at 69-63 in overtime. Had a chance to win in regulation.
They did.
So, what a great thing for Jeff Hofeld's team to, turn things around after a loss to a Southwest team that, I think the Islanders probably were going in thinking they could beat Southwest.
That could have been the case, but boy, how do you bounce back the next night like that? Like you say, kudos to that team.
The Southwest game, they got down 21-5, which has been a pattern I'm sure Coach Hofeld wants to break as they get down in games. But when they get off to a fairly good start, they're in every game.
Oh, they are. Indeed.
To do that. So the Islanders, there you have Kearney, their rival, in town on Friday night. They lost to Kearney earlier over in Kearney, so that'll be a rivalry game. And then Saturday, Omaha North comes to town. Continuing trying to get the Metros outstate. So, Islanders have a chance to win both games.
They do, and the Kearney game, they'll be ready for Kearney.
Yeah. So I hope that they can build on that. Kearney took Prep down to the wire, 74-72 at the Birdcage. So
yes,
that was an interesting score too. So both teams, I think, improving. That'll be a pretty good ball game Friday night.
It should be.
We broadcast the Northwest boys against Schuyler on Saturday night. Prior to that, they lost a heartbreaker over in Hastings, 54-53.
The hard luck Vikings.
And then the Schuyler game, and you did the PA for that game, so you were there. Northwest was in control of the game, and they came out and laid an egg in the third quarter.
Oh, my goodness.
But you have to give Schuyler's zone defense. They collapsed when that ball went inside, and they had quick hands.
Yes, they did.
Northwest turned it over about 4 times when they went inside. And that was Schuyler got out, ran a little bit, got a working lead. Northwest made a little comeback at the end. I thought we might see some fireworks right at the end, but Schuyler gets out with a 42-36 victory. Northwest falls to 4-11. That's not a bad 4-11 basketball team.
It's not.
I saw.
And injuries have played a big part now. But
Casey Dahlcutter and McNeilis were both out.
Yeah.
That's about Wade and I broadcasting. It's about 20 points and 14 rebounds.
Boy,
that we're talking about.
Doesn't that make a big difference?
So that makes a big difference.
They just get in a hole and it's too far to get out.
Right. So I think Coach Rathke has to be happy. The boys, when they did. They got down by 14, and made a comeback. So they're at the Central Conference tournament. I believe they start with Central City.
Right.
It's tomorrow night.
No, it's tonight.
It's tonight.
Yep,
tonight.
you betcha.
And you'll be out there telling people who's who. Right?
Who's who? Yeah.
Good. The Central Catholic Crusaders go 1-1 on the weekend. They're at 11-5 now. They beat Blue Hill 55-40, and then run into a buzzsaw 64-54. Adams Central gets the win at Central Catholic. Of course, Central Catholic still without Johanna Gaifan. I understand he's making progress on his therapy, so we should see him back here soon. They're going to go to their Centennial Conference, where they drew Fremont Bergen the 3 seed Bergen might be the best team in the state.
Yeah, could be.
They're a C2 team.
Right.
So, gosh, that's a tough conference.
It is a tough conference, and if they lose, I think they play the loser of Lincoln Christian and Wahoo Newman. Isn't that a fine?
Yeah.
How do you do?
So Bergen, Central Catholic, Christian, and Newman. I mean, those are really tough side of the bracket.
Oh, yeah, really. And St. Cecilia's #1 seed with their youth movement. What a conference.
Yeah, so that'll be a great tournament.
Yeah.
That begins tonight.
Yep.
So Central Catholic 11-5, hoping to get the big guy back, and Brett Weens was back.
Yes, he was.
So they'll be at full strength one of these days here too. Heartland Lutheran, they 9-5 on the year. They lost to Burwell 60-52 in the Goldenrod at St. Paul. It's a good Burwell team.
Oh yeah,
Always a good Burwell
No doubt
team.
about it. They always have athletes, and Lloyd Wagnitz gets Burwell at his house later this year. And I'll bet he beats him. I'll bet he finds a way.
Yeah, he'll get away. That ball game's scheduled for Valentine's Day. So the Red Hornets are off, have a little break until the 6th. That's a week from Thursday, where they'll be up at Palmer.
Who's really improving.
And they're playing well. Palmer's playing well. And so if you look down, they have Nebraska Lutheran, Burwell, Fullerton, and Palmer. So they have some tough games coming up.
They do, but I hear their
that'll
practices are going very well.
So we saw them play there against St. Ed, and we're impressed with both the boys and the girls team. So we're going to come back and talk a little girls high school basketball, talk about a peak performer, right after this word from Snap Fitness. This is In the Hoop.
What's the most centrally located gym in Grand Island? Try Snap Fitness, a 24/7 gym that's loaded with state-of-the-art equipment from Cybex for both strength and cardio. Located at 217 East Dolly Park Road in Grand Island.
Welcome back to In the Hoop. George Ayoub along with Bobby Mills. We're going to talk high school girls basketball. The Islanders, Bobby, ran into 2 really good teams. Lincoln Southwest, who took care of business at their place Friday night. And then Benson came to town, and I see Benson's now the #1 team in the state.
First time in history, isn't it?
Mike Patterson's.
Yeah.
And well-deserved. This is a really
boy.
terrific Benson team. And they put a beat down on the Islanders, 69-36. The night before it was 73-44, so that's a tough weekend.
It is, and those girls will bounce back, but
They will.
that's really tough to take, and they're scrappers, but that's a tough deal. You can't get much tougher a weekend than that.
Right. The Islanders will play a 6-5 Kearney team. Actually, it's an 8-5 Kearney team now, and that's a good Kearney team too. And so they have a pretty tough road to hoe. They're going to get a little break, I think, with North and Lincoln East and North Star, but they have some other tough games coming up, including Lincoln Northeast, who will be in town, and that's a top 10 team as well.
That is indeed.
So Coach Alec Michaels, Islanders.
I like the way he coaches, though, George.
Trial by fire. Yep.
He's always
Yep.
prepared, and he always tells you exactly what they're going to do, and they stick to it.
Right. They they used that up tempo last week, and really was to their liking. They're a very athletic bunch,
Yep.
and I think that helped a lot.
Funny,
so.
they can adapt to anything he does. That's great.
Speaking of blowouts, wow, the Northwest girls, goodness gracious.
Isn't that something?
63-24 over Hastings on Friday night, Saturday night in the game we broadcast, and you did the PA for 82-33. Ouch.
Boy, they're hitting on all cylinders,
Yeah.
and I like Katie Plocky. Her shooting percentage is way up there, and McKenzie's always going to take the shots.
McKenzie, I think, had 34 against Schuyler or something like that.
But they work so well.
They really do. And Katie, we were made the point on the broadcast that one of the great things that Diane Rose had in Katie as a volleyball player was she could throw it down at the net, kill with the best of them, but she was a terrific setter.
I know.
At 6 foot.
Yep.
Just really a talented athlete, and you're right. They are really playing well. Their press.
Oh, that defense just is.
You have to have 2 really good ball handlers
You do.
to beat that press. You can't do it with one person dribbling.
I can't tell you how many times I've sat in that chair and felt sorry for the other team. And you shouldn't do that, but when they start pressing and turning it over and making baskets, it has to be discouraging.
They have the Central Conference. They're the #1 seed. They'll wait to see who they play. I think their first ball game would be Tuesday at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll wait to see who they're going to play, and they'll have that game at home.
Yep.
The Central Catholic girls go 1-1 on the weekend. Lost to a good Centura team, 55-33.
That is a good team.
And then they beat Adams Central 41-26. They are headed for the Centennial Conference tournament. I believe they have a game tonight.
They should. I forgot to look who they drew.
But I didn't see on the seeds. I didn't see.
That's a tough girls conference too.
Both the boys and the girls side of the conference.
They remind me of senior high. They're scrappers, and they.
Right.
I think they're well coached, so they'll do nothing but improve.
Right, and then after that, out of the frying pan into 9-0 or 11-0, Hastings St. Cecilia. What's going on there?
I tell you what.
Yeah, Howard Schumann. Howard, the schedule.
He hasn't been kind to those girls.
Yeah. So, but you're right. You know, when you have a group that plays as hard as they do, I'm sure they're saying, "Bring it on. We're good. We're good." Heartland Lutheran girls. We saw them get a nice win against St. Ed. They lose 53-30 to Spalding Academy. That's in the Goldenrod Conference tournament, and they'll be off until next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, when Nebraska Lutheran comes to town. Nebraska Lutheran is a good D1 team.
They are.
They're playing good basketball, and so. But I think the Heartland Lutheran girls. We saw them play, and of course, Brandy Holman was not playing, the 6'1", experienced center there. They have a nice change in their program out there. I think they've really turned things around on both the boys and girls sides, and like to see them play.
Somebody you might not want to see in sub-districts, either one of those teams.
Right, and both teams at Heartland Lutheran are going to have the kind of points that they're going to be in that 2-3 seed area.
Yep.
They're going to be very dangerous.
They'll
be very dangerous. So, our peak performer this week, we're going to give that award to Pierce Allman. 33 points.
That wasn't hard, was it?
In a losing effort to Benson, but Pierce was hitting on all cylinders.
His dad. Did you see his dad there? He was officiating the reserve game at Northwest. He said, I can't wait to watch Pierce. And boy, he was right. That kid, I just could not believe how hard he played.
Yeah.
He just did not want to lose.
And it's his competitive fire, I think, that makes him go. But
he made everybody else go, George.
And he has lots of skills, not only on the basketball court, certainly on the football field too, as we saw this year. But one of the things we've noticed, and you and I talked about when we broadcast the Islanders, that Pierce, last year was people looked for him to score, but this year Pierce does it all.
Oh my goodness!
And you're right, he does make the players around him better, and so he can step back and hit the three, but he takes it to the basket. And he does, and he looks for the open man.
Yes.
And he's definitely the leader out on the field. So we'll get a certificate to Pierce Allman at Grand Island Senior High for his 33-point performance against a really tough Omaha Benson team. So get out and see a high school basketball game.
It's tournament week.
You need to rest your throat because you'll be talking a lot this week.
That's right.
Now, our next broadcast on theindependent.com will be a week from Tuesday. We'll be back out at Grand Island Northwest when the Crete boys come to town to take on the Vikings. So it is tournament week. Go see a ball game. For Bobby Mills, Elisa Reeds behind the camera, I'm George Ayoub with theindependent.com. This has been In the Hoop.
Visit Snap Fitness in Grand Island for all of your workout needs. State-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers will help you reach the exercise and health goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.